Hangry bacteria in your gut microbiome are linked to chronic disease. Feeding them what they need old lead to happier cells and a healthier body. The conversation. The gut microbiome may play a role in regulating the body's appetite, cognition and immune responses. Noparit, iStock via Getty Images plus diet-related chronic diseases have reached a critical juncture. In the U.S., nearly half the population has prediabetes or diabetes. Over 40% are overweight or obese. 1 in 9 people over the age of 65 has Alzheimer's disease, the development of which researchers are exploring the potential role of diet. Poor diet is also linked to poor mental health, cardio. Below are your comments. I've always heard that if you shop only the outer ring of the store, produce, meat, fish, dairy, your diet will improve. Just look at the food in the supermarkets, whole aisles dedicated to sugar, to salt. Processed food full of chemicals is being consumed daily, by some 3 meals a day. It's the poisoning of America by the corporations. Food testing and safety has fallen by the wayside. There's a revolving door between feeding them what they need, waded through a lot of words and still don't know what to feed them. These fibers, phytonutrients, micronutrients, missing fats and fermented foods. And what foods provide those? Agree with this article. As of yet we don't understand how all the bacteria interplay, what signals they're sending and how it affects our health. Almost like we neglected an organ when studying cause we thought it was there merely to digest food. The food industry isn't helpful in this area. For many foods in the grocery store, read the labels. The more ingredients, the worse it is for you. Fruits and veggies don't have labels for a reason. Meats don't usually have lots of ingredients but stick with the lean ones. No processed anything. Too many chemicals. The more natural the better. Next news. One couple packed up an RV and drove 1,300 miles to give birth in Virginia to escape the high black maternal mortality rate in Texas. Business Insider. As the maternal mortality crisis continues to worsen in the U.S., some black women are crossing state lines to give birth. Below are your comments. My friend is a labor and delivery nurse in a southern hospital. I asked her what she thought of these statistics and she said that she has seen the issue as a lack of prenatal care more often in brown, black women than white. Either lack of access or neglecting to go. She will have a laboring mom company. I just had a C-section in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was discharged after 48 hours despite showing signs of needing to stay possibly one more day. I ended up in the ER the very next day. The ER doctor was immediately shocked that I was discharged. I received 2 CT scans and my legs were checked via ultras. I totally believe what they are saying, but I also know how bad my own experience as a white woman Street. Lewis was, 40 years ago. I called my doctor's office 2 weeks prior to my due date with concerns and was dismissed by whoever answered the phone. After the delivery I had postpartum toxemia, WH. I work in healthcare. I think that personal health choices and lifestyle have more to do with mortality rates than racism. I have seen that some parts of the population just have poor compliance to medical advice. They don't do what they are supposed to do and then they turn it around and blame the. This was an absurd overreaction to a statistic. Literally took more risk driving across a state than the additional mortality rate posed. Especially considering the mortality rate might not have had anything to do with locale. Nor did they probably factor into the decision local variability in qual. Next news. Boomers have a drug problem, but not the kind you might think. The conversation. Some boomers are on multiple medications. Combinations of those drugs could have serious side effects. Getty Images, SPAR, RUP baby boomers, that's anyone born in the U.S. between 1946 and 1964 are 20% of the population, more than 70 million Americans. Decades ago, many in that generation experimented with drugs that were both recreational and illegal. Although boomers may not be using those same drugs today, many are taking medications, often several of them. And even if those drugs are L. Below are your comments. Just a few things to note. First, the same drug may have multiple names. This can matter if the doctor in the hospital has put you back on a drug that your primary had tried and ruled out years before. It happened to us with my husband's Lipitor. Second, my husband had a regime of about 14 different. At 95, my father was on multiple medications. I went to the doctor with him. He said never again. I asked too many questions. He was upset because I told the doctor all the supplements he was taking. He wouldn't listen to me, but the doctor explained to him more than 3 to 4 medicines and they Big Pharma are the biggest drug pushers out there. One thing I have noticed is that around the age of 50 doctors put their patients on a blood pressure statin and a pre-2 diabetes meds. Probably 80% of prescriptions are all unnecessary. You know what is necessary? Maintaining a healthy weight, getting exercise, eating whole foods and not processed foods. Not eating any granulated sugar and having a positive attitude. Most people on drugs are overweight, have led unhealthy lifestyle. I'm 68 and take no prescription drugs. I do like caffeine, hot chilies and cannabis, though. Next news. Life and death, mothers fear loss of WIC benefits in a government shutdown. Good morning America. Florencia Caridi, a mother of a 10-month-old living in New York City, is one of nearly 7 million low-income women in the U.S. Receiving assistance through the Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, commonly known as WIC. I think that if I didn't have the program, it would be really, really hard for me, Caridi, who lives paycheck to paycheck, told ABC News as she visited the WIC Nutrition Center at Ryan Health in New York City. WIC is a discretionary grant program. Below are your comments. Florencia Caridi, a mother of a 10-month-old living in New York City, is one of nearly 7 million low-income women in the U.S. receiving assistance through the Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children. Why are low-income people living in the world's most expensive city on our? So an illegal immigrant is receiving benefits funded by the U.S. taxpayers. I agree, every person has the right to eat, the right to shelter, the right to be in safe environment, etc. However, don't come into the country illegally with zero plans for how you're going to provide for yourself and your. I only had one child as that was what I could afford. I didn't expect taxpayers to pay for my child's food or shelter. A real entitlement mentality out there, and already with someone not even from US. I am very happy that the government shutdown was avoided so I can keep paying to feed people who are unrelated to me. It's good that I, being in the 10% of those who make, can continue to contribute to the 90% of those who take in this country. Thanks, Joe. Next news. For Black mothers, birthing centers, once a refuge, become a battleground. The New York Times. Gabrielle Glaze felt scolded and shamed when she delivered her first son in a Birmingham, Alabama, hospital, forced to observe strict rules about lying stationary through her contractions and enduring countless cervical checks from total strangers, who seemed disappointed by her body's progress. So when Glaze, 33, gave birth to a second son in a birthing center in April, surrounded by a team of midwives who said they would let her body lead the way, it seemed as if her previous labor experience. See below are your comments. The phrase, exposing mothers and their newborns to increased risks to their health and safety is true. If they went to a hospital, not a birthing center. Birthing centers and certified nurse midwives have well-documented, substantially better outcomes for our low-risk mothers than hospitals do. And that is the problem, because not only did they not include any midwife, they didn't see fit to include an OB/GYN either. Dentists. Next news. After my 8-year relationship ended, I couldn't sleep. It turns out I had post-breakup insomnia. Either breakups can trigger stress that causes insomnia, the inability to fall or stay asleep. After her 8-year relationship ended, she could not sleep and sought help. Below are your comments. Man, they have to have a disorder for everything these days. It's called a broken heart. When this occurs, you can't eat, sleep, function. Not a disorder. The best way to get over a breakup is don't sleep with someone else. That's the worst mistake anyone can do. Secondly is focus on real authentic people in your life, friends, family. A meaningless sewer rat person is not gonna solve, fix or put a bandage over your recent breakup. You'd be. Drink a bottle of your favorite bourbon before bedtime. You will sleep like a baby. After dumping my unfit mother of an ex, first thing I did was hit the town for a whole month and probably slept with 16 women within 4 weeks. It was delightful after enduring a bitter, overweight, nagging, negative woman who couldn't even take care of herself. So glad I left, I'll never tie myself. Next news. Americans can prevent and control type 2 diabetes. So why aren't we doing it? USA Today. USA Today's health team spoke with scores of experts to understand why, despite solutions, more Americans continue to struggle with type 2 diabetes. Below are your comments. Mexico made it illegal to add corn syrup to their products, and diabetes went way down. Most of my biological family are diabetic. I'm not, but I have to work at it, careful with what I consume and exercise 5 days a week. Just the thought of the many doctor visits and taking insulin keeps me motivated. Big debates! Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Bottom line is majority of people are eating processed foods loaded with sugars, fats, chemicals. Drinking loads of sugary drinks. They don't like exercising. No matters what kind of treatment plans doctor prescribes, it's not going to work. Look at fast food and restaurant food. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. It's. Next news. How long does a tattoo take to heal? What to know about aftercare and the healing process. USA Today. When you get a tattoo, the needle pierces small holes in the skin, making healing similar to any cut. Here's how to take care of a new tattoo. Below are your comments. How long does it take to heal? The rest of your life. Don't disfigure your body with tattoos in the first place, then you won't have any problems. Why anyone would spend big money to mar their skin for life is beyond me. To the editors, managers, moderators. Please stop running these bogus news articles that promote permanent self-disfigurement. How long does a tattoo take to look stupid? What to know about tattoo removal and the healing process. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you like it, please thumbs up.